All right. So, happy Friday. We are starting chapter 4. So yes, we did skip chapter 3. So just make sure that you're paying attention to that if you're utilizing the textbook. So a couple of things. Here are your recommended assignments that are going to come up. I'm going to assign the practice test a little bit later. And we're actually going to do that in class one of the days to prepare for the test. I will give you the test date later on. There's a couple of things that are happening in the next week that could impact the date on that test. So I'll get that to you very shortly. I'm so sorry that I'm missing my favorite lesson because it's about Beyonce, who has some awesome music, questionable music, whatever your feelings are. We're gonna use her lyrics today and find out, does Beyonce actually write her own lyrics? So first thing, yes, we're not doing this as a whole class. If y'all want to, that's up to y'all. Y'all can organize that. But I'm going to act as if we have done it together. So quickly on the next page, it's going to look like this. You're going to randomly pick 5 words and circle them. Okay. And you're going to write them here and then tell me how many letters are in each word. Okay. So I'm assuming that you picked these words. If you didn't, that's okay. Okay, so hoping, row, crazy, baby, looking. All right, and then you're going to count up how many letters are actually in those words. And 6. Okay, so the thing that we just did, this is called a sample. Okay, the population that we pulled from were the words, all of the words in Crazy in Love by Beyonce. Okay, that's the difference between sample and population. Population is where you pull it from. Sample is the little like group that you pulled. Right? If you were to find the average length of these words, it would be about 5. So we're going to call that X bar. That is the sample mean. All right. Now we're going to act like we did all of this together. So I want you to just copy down this dot plot, okay, onto your paper, and we'll go from there. Again, we're assuming that we did all of this together. I know that we didn't. I'm so sorry. But go ahead and copy this dot plot down. If you need to pause the video, that's fine. And it doesn't have to be super accurate. We're just getting like a rough sketch of what it might look like. All right. Okay. So this is what the dot plot would look like. So this is what we're going to call a convenience. And I always spell this word wrong, but I'll judge. Again, I do math, not the language arts. Convenience. Okay, I was right. This is called a convenient sampling. And that's because we're all going to come in here all at the same time. We're scheduled to come in here. We're all in the same school. We're all in the same class. Conveniently, I can say, hey, everybody do this. Okay. Now, this is going to have a high bias. And that's just because we have the same education. We go to the same school. We think kind of similarly. So this is going to have a higher bias because we have, smart kids all in AP staff, right? Okay. Now, let's say that we find a new sample of 5 words using a random number generator. So if you type into Google and say random number generator, okay, this one might pop up or you can use another one. Well, on the page, the next page, okay, it has all the words numbered, okay? What you're going to do is going to say 1, I think it's 297. So from 1 to 297, you're going to generate 5 numbers. Whatever those 5 numbers are, they have corresponding words. So 217 would have given me else, and that has 4 letters in it. Okay, you're going to do that for 5, and then you're going to find the average. Okay, so here it is again. Random number generator, doing it 5 times for 5 different words. And then you've got the length, how many letters there are, and then find the average. Okay, so remember, add them all up and divide by how many numbers there are. Okay. Once you do that, we're going to get a dot plot. Again, we're assuming that we have done this together. It doesn't have to be super accurate. You can copy the one I'm putting down onto your paper. Dun, dun, dun. I feel like I should play some background music while we wait. Hope y'all are having a good day, doing great things. I know it's probably still really early when you're watching this. Okay, so this, each dot that is on here represents, so each dot represents a sample of 5 words, average length. So each one represents one person's 5 words average length. Okay. All right, cool. So how is the dot plot from number 4 different from the dot plot in number 3? The dot plot in 4 has a lower center and the random number generator. I don't know why this is not loading. I'm so sorry. Random number generator, okay, is a better estimate. Okay, so if you were just to take a guess at what the true average word length is for Crazy in Love, what would your guess be? Most of you are going to say roughly around 3.5. Okay. If I tell you that the true population of this, the true population mean, which is mu, true population mean is mu, and that's going to be 3.53. So I'm telling you that. I don't expect you to calculate that right now. I'm telling you that the true population mean, if I take every single word in Crazy in Love and I added up all of the number of letters and divided by how many numbers there were or words there were, I would get 3.53. Okay. All right. It is known that Beyonce wrote the lyrics for All Destiny's Child. The average word length for these songs is 3.64 letters. Based on our work today, do we have convincing evidence that Beyonce did not write the lyrics for Crazy in Love? Okay, and I'm going to answer this in just a second. But going back to this one, this is called simple random sampling. This is going to have a low bias because it's not based on anybody in the room. It's literally just random, right? Okay. Another thing that I want to point out is that 3.53 is like right in here. Okay. I want you to also list it on this one as well, up at the top. 3.53, that's our true population mean. Okay. So back down to number 7. It is known that Beyonce wrote the lyrics for all of Destiny Child's songs. Okay. Now, do we have convincing evidence? No, we don't. All right. And here's the reason why. The true average, I'm going to shorten some of these words, word length for Crazy in Love is 3.53 letters, which is very close to Destiny Child 3.64, but it's not statistically significant. So it's pretty close to Destiny's Child songs. And we know that Beyonce wrote the lyrics for Destiny's Child songs. So it's pretty close from 3.53 letters to 3.64. Those are pretty close. So we could say maybe Beyonce probably wrote those lyrics. Okay, go and flip to the next page. All right, so quick things that you should know about this, or just kind of a summary. Okay, we talked about population. So we have a population, and we can do a convenience sample. This is where it's easy to reach people. Easy to reach people. Okay, or we could do simple random sampling, which is what we talked about. Okay, so voluntary response, we've talked about that a little bit. And this is people's choice. So there's going to be some bias with people's choice. Like, for instance, if I look at a list of words, I'm going to pick the first couple of words because I'm not reading the whole thing, right? Okay, so this all can lead to bias. And bias is bad with what we're doing. Okay, so come over here. We have simple random sampling. Okay, or SRS. The first thing that you want to do is label all individuals. And we did this for you, but eventually you would have to do it yourself. So you're going to assign numbers to everything. And then, or you could write names on paper. So then you're going to randomize. Okay, or use a random number generator. You can't have repeats though. Or you could put them in a hat and shuffle. And then you're going to actually select. So those are the 3 steps for a simple random sample. Okay, you kind of already know this stuff, but we're just naming it. Okay, so go ahead and take a moment. I want you to read over problems 1, 2, 3. Go ahead and do that. So pause the video, take a couple minutes, read through 1, 2, and 3 and try them on your own. And then I'll post the answers in just a second. Okay, so on number 1A, what type of sample did the manager obtain? This is a voluntary response sample. So this is, hey, if you do this, like you rate us 5 stars on Google, that's, people aren't gonna, like, everybody's not gonna do it. Only people who are volunteering to do it are doing the voluntary response sample. Okay, explain why this sampling method is biased. And that's because people who volunteered to respond were more likely to be motivated to give the business 5 stars so that they could get a $10 gift card, right? I hate doing surveys just like the next person. I'm just gonna give like whatever kind of response if I have to do a voluntary one, right? All right, the manager finds 92% of the customers rate the business with 5 stars is 92% likely to be greater than or less than the percent of all people in the community who truly believe the business deserves 5 stars. 92% is likely greater than the true percent for all people in the community who would get 5 stars, because people that really like the business are more likely to respond. Yeah. On number 2, to help reduce bias, the manager decides to survey the next 10 customers that make a purchase. What type of sample did the manager obtain? That's a convenient sample. So explain why the sampling method is biased. Well, these customers all made purchases and may not be representative of the whole population. Those customers who made purchases more likely gave higher ratings than customers who didn't purchase would. And then how could the manager avoid bias description in question 2? He could do a simple random sample. So instead of just, hey, whoever walks through the doors or the next 10 customer, he could do, every 20 customers who walks through the door, something along those lines. All right, go ahead and flip the page, and we're going to talk about Taylor Swift. Yay! Or no. All right, so kind of continuing on with the simple random sampling, there's different methods. So this is to show you the different methods. Okay, so Taylor Swift wants to find out how much fans enjoyed the Eras tour. She will ask fans from 1 to 100, where the 100 is the most, how much did you enjoy the concert? The VIP section she wants to survey has 50 seats, 5 rows, 10 columns. The stage runs along the northern edge of the venue where Taylor is pictured. She wants to take a sample of 10 fans. Okay, so a simple random sample of 10 fans. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to explain these steps. We're going to first label the seats from 1 to 100. Now, you don't have to do every single box. We're just going to go 1 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 30, 31 to 40, and then 50. I'm sorry, not to 100. Yay. It's been a long day. Okay. And then we're going to fill in this side. 41. Okay. Now we're going to use a random number generator, and select 10 numbers. Okay. And then you're going to select those people in corresponding seats. Okay. So if I go to random number generator and I say from 1 to 50, and I got 1, I got 18, I got 7, I got 5. You see how this is going on. 4, 10, 41, 4, 10, 41, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 3 more. 42, 36, and 38. 42, 36, and 38. Okay, now going back to our little seats. Now we're going to mark off those boxes. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are good. 10, 41, 42, 36, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 38, 5, 7, 18, 20, 19, 18. Boom. They're there. Okay. So that would be a simple random sample. All right. So now for method 2. Kind of similar, but we're going to randomly choose 2 fans from each horizontal row. Okay. So this is called a stratified random sample. Okay. Strata means rows. Okay. So each row, we're going to pick 2. So like, let's pick these 2. On the next one, let's pick these. On the next one, pick these. And again, you would number these 1 through 10. And then just kind of like pick from there. And then that one. Cool. All right, the next one. Randomly choose 1 fan from each vertical column. Okay. All right, so this is again stratified random sampling. And strata means columns. Okay. So we're going to go down once and just pick random seats. This. Okay. Which method do you think gives us the best estimate for average enjoyment? Why? So which method do you think would give us the best estimate for average enjoyment and why? Okay, so looking at these, this would be method 2 would probably give us the best because it ensures representation from each row. And probably your front row will enjoy more than the back row. I do want to make a note here. The reason why you would pick a strata variable, and so whether we want to do columns versus rows, you want to pick a strata variable. So choose a strata variable as the one with the largest effect on response. Effect on response. Okay. Okay. So flipping the page. All right, now it's time to actually look at the data. So for each of the samples on the previous page, calculate the average enjoyment, add your average to the dot plots on the board. Okay, so again, we're gonna assume that we are doing this all together. So don't panic. Okay, so we see on here that this is the little table, and it's better on your actual paper. We see the little table, that's their level of enjoyment. Okay, so if for sample 1, if I like added up all of those people and then divided by how many numbers there were, so if I picked that first seat, it would have been 92, then 88, then blah, 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 plus 72. We divided it by 10. That would give me 82.4. Okay. If I took all of the seats from the previous page, added them all up, and found the mean, again, we're doing this together, then I would have gotten 79.5. And for the last one, same thing, 89 plus 100 plus all those numbers. That would have given me 81.3. Okay. And then if we took all of those things and we actually put them on a dot plot, this is what it would look like. I'm going to put it up on here in just a second. 2 seconds. Okay. And you can copy this one down. You can pause the video. But here is what the dot plots would actually look like. Okay, so do you notice how this would have a low bias because, nobody's really influencing it. Okay, same thing with stratified by row. Okay, low bias, low variability. It's all close together. Okay, and based on the dot plots, which method would produce the best estimate for the true population average enjoyment? Okay, the best method would be stratify by row because the dot plot has all the estimates close together. Dot plot has all estimates together. So the reason why we pick this one is because it's all close together. It's all roughly around the same thing, right? Okay, if I told you that the average was 78.4, okay, I told you that the average was 78.4. We want something that's roughly around that, right? So we would want to use that stratified by row method. Okay, so let's summarize. Okay, on this summary, we have a stratified random sample. We split the population into groups or strata. Okay, then choose a simple random sample from each strata. Okay, again, you are still using the whole like numbering them and picking something randomly. Okay, we're not just like picking whichever one we feel like. I know I did that, but we're going to use a random number generator. Okay, so we take the population, we break them into groups such as rows, and then do a simple random sample from each one of those. So each strata has individuals with shared attributes or characteristics. So the people who are in the front normally are going to be like your super fans. People in the back, not so much. So good estimates. A sampling method produces the best estimates if there is low bias and low variability. Okay. Now I should pause the video and I want you to try A, B, and C. Okay. And then we're going to go over the answers in just a second. Okay. So would this sample be with replacement or without replacement? So this was back from like geometry when they asked you about replacement versus not replacement. So this is without replacement because the principal would not want to select the same student twice. Okay, if it was the same student twice, then it would be with replacement, but we don't want to deal with that. Explain how the principal could take a stratified random sample using grade level as a strata. So they could split the population into groups by grade level. For the 9th grade, number them 1 to however many they have. Okay. And then use a random number generator to select 25 number, no repeats. Select the 9th graders corresponding to these numbers, and then repeat the process for each grade level. This question comes up a lot in this unit. Oh, they ask you to explain how you could make this kind of sample. Okay. All right, on the next one, explain why a stratified random sample might produce a better estimate than a simple random sample. Because the students in each grade level might have different opinions about the hall pass. It's possible that most 9th graders are for it, while 12th graders are against it. So stratified would have lower variability, okay? So it's taking into account that all of these people probably think about the same, okay? All right, so now that you finished those notes, I need you to, I can pull this up. Boom. Okay, you should be able to finish 67, page 67 in your workbook to 72. Okay, you can use your textbook online for the vocab if you want to. And then you can work on your recommended assignment 4.1. If you want to jump ahead, 4.2 has already been assigned, but go ahead and get started on that. I will have grades updated as soon as I possibly can. Hopefully later today, if not before. Okay, so y'all have a fantastic weekend. If you struggled on this, Monday we're going to recap this, so don't stress. Okay, this is just to kind of give you a preview. A lot of this unit is vocab, and it's knowing the difference between the different types of sampling. Okay, so if you can get that down, then you'll be okay. All right, well, I will see you Monday. Good luck.